Alright, all you ghost ship bioterror fighting gamers out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And we almost forgot to mention for that movie review that Rob Lowe was featured in that film, and he was a part of the Austin Powers series. Why in the world they never credit him for that movie? I think it was because of a favor to Chris Farley and a whole bunch of other stuff, but yeah, should have gave him some form of credit to this movie. Almost forgot he was in it. But besides forgetting actors in certain films, folks, I think it's time for us to go into another edition of the Instant Classic Video Game Review. And the game we have up on the plate for this 100th episode was a game that we completely forgot to review several years ago, just like we did last month with Max Payne 3. And it's none other than Resident Evil Revelations. And the meat and potatoes of this game is that you play as either Chris or Jill, who is trying to fight the bioterroristic group known as Veltro on a ghost ship that is filled with more horrors than 1,000 ghouls. And that is the simplest explanation I could go into without revealing any of the plot of this said game, further than that to spoil the story for you true Resident Evil fans out there. But I will say this game takes place between Resident Evil 4 and 5. Now I sound like an episode of 24, but yes, that's exactly where it takes place. And before we say anything about what we liked and didn't like about this game, we are reviewing the Nintendo 3DS, the original version of this game before it got ported to everything amongst the stars. Yeah, so before anybody say anything, that's the one that we're reviewing. Alright? Alright. Now, with that out of the way, folks, what did I like about the game? Well, first off, one thing that I loved about the game is the actual gamepad extension pack that he included that you could get for this game to get a little better grip on the controls. Yeah, it was one thing that I liked about the game. Another thing that I liked about the game is the viral scanner that you get the chance to use to not only scan the enemies, but the environment around you to find hidden objects and other things to help you out in this horrifying ghost ship of an adventure. And oh, speaking of ways to fight against horrifying creatures, even though I didn't mention it, another thing that I liked about this game had to have been the different amount of weapons they included in the game and the modifications you could do to those said weapons to try to help you out. Like, for example, if you find a shotgun, and you will find a shotgun in a Resident Evil game, and say to yourself, "Self, it's not strong enough to eliminate that enemy," have no fear, because you get a chance to put one of the weapon kit mods on it and actually increase the damage, the fire rate, or even the reload speed, which for most shotgun users out there with no first hand, it's a problem to reload a shotgun really quickly when an enemy is trying to take you out. So, for a faster shotgun reload, definitely a godsend in this game. And another thing that I loved about this game, besides the scary atmosphere of the Queen Zenobia and the 3D effects that it did come with, is the fact that this game also included a mercenaries mode where you get a chance to test a whole new broad horizon of weapons, including probably one of my favorite weapons in the Resident Evil series thus far, even though it's a very silly weapon that I got a feeling was featured in a Batman film, known as the Pale Rider. It looks like a giant lead pencil, but it's a very powerful magnum revolver. Just say that much. And with everything that I liked about this game, with also the fact that I like the fact that you get a chance to transfer between each of the characters that are featured in this game, what didn't I like about this game? Well, for starters, folks, the fact that you have a co-op mode for raid mode, but for the main campaign of the game, you have an NPC partner that really can help you out in the clinch. I mean, every single shot this guy takes, it doesn't kill an enemy, and to make matters worse, if you're getting attacked by an enemy, he can't even hit the enemy off of you. That's bad, especially in the couple little levels under the water that has insta-kill enemies. I'm telling you. And another thing that I didn't like about this game had to have been the final boss of this very game, because it has to be probably one of the hardest final boss that you have to fight in any game that I've played before, at least for the Resident Evil series. And if you haven't gotten to him yet, let's just say he has a lot of flash step abilities to try to take you out. Enough said. And with everything that we liked and didn't like about this game, what do I think they could do to improve upon this game in the future? Well, for one, I'll say this much. For the partner that you have that you can't control, at least give you the option to give them a gun that they could use, and with their own separate amount of ammunition that they could use to actually help you out in a fight, and then put some modifications on it to put a little stank on it, man. I mean, to help you out, if you're getting attacked by a creature that got you in a deathlock, you can at least use their gun, or they can use your gun to try to help you out of the situation. The only thing I hope for in the near future for this game, besides a chance to have a multiplayer game or a co-op game to actually do for the main campaign. Because I got a feeling some people would love to be Parker and try to take people out in this game too. Yeah, at least give you the option, if it's not co-op, the option to switch from Jill to Parker during the story mode, just in case to help you out in the clinch. And seeing the fact that we don't review games here along the lines of gold stars, coins, letters, or bricks, we review games in only two ways, folks. Will there be a video game story in the near future for this game? And do we recommend this game for you, the Resident Evil side story fan at home? And with the fact that I do believe we did a Tales from the Disc for this game, yeah, we will feature a video game story in the near future for this game that'll involve a giant lobster creature getting torn to pieces with the power of the Pale Rider. Now, Maestro doesn't have a horse sound effect available, but I got a feeling for that video game story, you will hear a lot of horse neighing and a whole lot of loud shooting. Yeah, because that gun is powerful. And I'll tell you a video game story on how powerful it is. And do we recommend this game for you, the Resident Evil side game playing fan at home? Well, if you want to play a game that involves Chris and Jill in another nightmarish situation involving another strand of a virus that's been following them since Raccoon City that can now turn fish and other sea life into monstrous creatures that'll most likely horrify them for another 20 years, then I recommend you go out there and cop that disc. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into this music once again, and when we return, we'll be back with a very special impromptu edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories, right after a word from our sponsors. So don't go away just yet, folks, and stay tuned.